Okay.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. All of that. Welcome to Two Queens and Crystal Things, the podcast where we on some manifest your life.
Manifest.
Shift your mind.
Shift it.
And raise the consciousness.
Raise it up.
Type of shit. I am Mia.
And I'm Christie. And you can consider us your spiritual girlfriends for the next hour.
Hey, girlfriend. Did you almost say boyfriend?
I don't know what I was about to say. I'm making sure I'm looking at the right thing. I'm not looking at the right one.
Yes, you are. That's right.
But my name came first, and your name came. There it is. All right. Behind the scenes stuff. But last week, we talked about addressing your shadow self. So in case you haven't had a chance to listen, the shadow self is a concept proposed by Dr. Carl Jung, and he's a well-known psychiatrist, and he basically proposed the idea of having our minds split into two very different archetypes. And so there's one, which is the persona, and then there's the other, which is the shadow self. And so the persona can be considered the mask.
I'm a fool.
She's over here doing some animation. But the persona can be considered a mask. This is why we have to video at some point. Yeah. But this mask, or what we present, is what we present to the world. And this is the person we want the world to believe we are. So
you're representative.
Yes, you're representative. So we were talking about Instagram. We're using Instagram as a really great example, because on Instagram you can be whoever, you can live wherever, you can be dating whomever. It's all in just changing the perception. A filter. There you go. And then also, as far as the shadow self, so we learn from our parents in the world in an early age, and what was like the difference between what is good and what is evil. And so this is when the archetypes begin to develop, when we have to make that decision between the two. Mm-hmm. And so the shadow self is what we can be, or what can be considered the dark evil side. And then last week's episode, we encourage our listeners to embrace their shadow self, not to say that you need to embrace the darkness and go ahead and curse and do whatever it is you want to do. We're not saying that, but we're just suggesting the idea
of embracing your whole self.
Yes, and not leaving it out. It's like the yin and the yang. You know, the yin and the yang is a whole, but you can't have the yang without the yin, and vice versa. It requires a lot of work. Can you tell who went to a HBCU? I'm sorry.
HBCU pride. Okay, so today, guys, we are going to talk about a very hot topic. This is going to get interesting. I'm a little nervous.
We've already started drinking the wine.
Yes. So, a lot of people come to us in our DMs and ask about the difference between spirituality and religion. So, and where does that live, and where do we stand? All that. So, for whatever reason, many people live that we can be religious but not spiritual, and vice versa. But in actuality, they are two different things.
Yeah, they are.
I will say this though. I think that you can be. It's like they're not mutually exclusive.
Right.
Like I think you can be. We'll get into it, but let me finish this. Okay, so spirituality is the quality of being concerned. Here's our operational definitions while we're talking this.
You guys know I love definitions.
So, being concerned with the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things. Mm-hmm. This is about, internal, your mind, a mindset shift. Mm-hmm. And religion is just a belief and worship of a superhuman controlling power. And I mean, especially, around a god or gods. And it's like practice. And it tells you how to be and live and interact with this deity or deities, depending on your religion. I saw, what's this on IG? I think I saw this said, religion is, that's the other one. Religion is belief in someone else's experience, and spirituality is having your own.
Yep.
So...
experience.
That makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. Now I can feel Christie's energy over here today, y'all. She got something to say.
Do I?
I'm like, she's like, yep, come on.
Do I?
I'm about to get into this.
Well, no, but it is true because when you have, when you are following a religion, you are putting your belief in someone else's experience. And that
Yes,
can be either the
absolutely.
Buddha, that can be either Muhammad, that could be either Jesus Christ. But then spirituality, they say that it is having your own experience, your own life experience. And we talked about all that. And I felt that. I really felt that quote. So I think a few episodes back, because honestly, religion has become a very touchy subject for me. And I think I haven't held back as much on this podcast about it. But, I was born in a very religious household. Great. I mean, my mother is great. She made the decision for us to go to church, and I'm happy that she did that. But there's also some, they call it church hurt too, that happens. But just to give you an idea of what I was raised in is that the women in my church, or the women in the church, just didn't wear pants. And it wasn't until, my mother started wearing pants maybe 20 years ago. No, less than that. More than that. But there was a time where she didn't wear pants. Yeah. So the thing about religion that doesn't sell me is the restrictiveness. There are a lot of people, and honestly, I will admit to it too, because at one point when I was a Christian or practicing a Christian, I was nervous to participate in yoga because, each pose is supposed to be for a specific deity, and then you never know which spirit you're allowing to enter in when you do that pose. So I was like that. Just
like I was like that.
I was like that. Even with meditation, I mentioned that I was afraid to do it because I thought that it was evil, because you're basically allowing something to just enter you. And anyway, so we're going to start.
Can we do this? Let's talk about that thing, this thing. Just kind of talk about the differences between spirituality and religion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, but I do want to say this. As a child, I went to church every Sunday. Mm-hmm. It was like non-negotiable. You can do whatever. On Sunday, you're going to be in church.
Yep.
Now, but I grew up in a Protestant church. But of course, I went to a lot of Baptist churches and all that stuff. But I was confirmed in a Protestant church, and I think as a child, I found it very restrictive because first of all, I don't want to be here. It's Sunday. I got stuff to do. I need to be outside. And I always felt like there's this looming thing that if I don't act right or do what God says, but I ask them, well, how come I can't hear him? Well, how come you know what I mean? Because they're making it like something outside of yourself that you going to hell. So as a child, for me, it wasn't that exciting. But I keep thinking, like, what if now parents are saying to their children, they're like, come learn about God and what you can and can't do and blah, 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 and they sit there and listen. It just sounds so boring to them. But what if we reframe and tell people, okay, come to church to learn about who you are? Because God is in us. But religion, that's one of the differences between religion and spirituality, is that, spirituality is that God is in you. All of us have God in us.
Because if we come to a conclusion where we finally accept the fact that God is within us and not without us, then the church is going to be without money. So of course they're not going to sell that.
See, okay, but they do sell it in a way. They tell us that because do you know how many times you heard churches say we are made in His image? So that's essentially telling us that's
it
what
it is. But a lot of people don't listen.
There are some churches and teachers, who script it differently. So what happens is they make us, instead of, us interpreting as like, oh, so we share something, we share DNA, like there is God in me. I think they interpret that as He looks like us, like our body, which is like, girl, don't even get me started.
And humans, we need to be able to see, touch, taste, smell.
Yes, so they made it tangible, right? So that's one. This one. Spirituality. I think that when people talk about being spiritual, there is this there is an acceptance and knowledge there's
That's
an
really
innate knowledge that everybody is good. You know what I mean? Like, you are good.
Wow.
And you know, it's just a matter of you choosing to be, but it's always there. Whereas in religion, it is you like, when
We're
you think
born
about this,
into sin.
yes.
Yeah.
You think about what kind of mind fuck that is.
I know, it's
you are a sin. Like, you so you have to do all of these
Isn't
things
that so
and follow
crazy?
these rules in order to not be a sin. And then, you know, that's only when you die if you find out that you did it. Like, I mean, what? Okay.
And then I think also in our, like, when you make the decision as far as being spiritual versus religion, I notice that when I look at people, I see them first as good, like you said. And I acknowledge that people have issues or there might be something deeper, instead of me just thinking, oh, you know, they're sinning or whatever, something that's evil about them. Oh, you got a demon in you. Let me rebuke that spirit. Like, stuff like that. Like, it just gets to be a little too much. But I did, when you talked about that, it really just, it made me, it sparked a huge thing in me. Because, I mean, honestly, now I look at people completely different.
But
So
that's
different.
because, you know, again, spirituality versus religion. When you start to build up and love and accept who you are and see the goodness in you and know that, yeah, there's some shit over here too, but I love all of it, you immediately start seeing people for the goodness in them. Like, I see the God in you first. Until you show me, I was like, oh, okay, you're not there yet. Let me just keep on. Not that you don't have it in you. It's just like, oh, you're choosing not to be there. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
No
that's
problem.
fine.
Love and light. Kisses.
See you later.
I'll be over here though. But you know what I mean? But I honestly do believe that everybody has there's a divinity in them. Girl, look at my, you just made. Another difference then what is let me see, let's do one more.
I'm just gonna sit here and
we're gonna, you know what, religion is you're worshiping another person, an entity. And you know what's so fun? Okay, I do have a question about this. So you know, the concept of you know, God is a jealous God, right? According to Christianity. I can't speak personally on a lot of different religions. Now, you know, your girl loves studying, so I have read a lot of books, but just personally I can't speak on one except for Christianity. And I know, and then, you know, we should you know, we should not idolize or worship any other being, right? But then when you go to church, go ahead,
tell it.
But then when you go to church, they have depending on, you know, Catholicism, they idolize and have statues of all the saints and the popes, and you worship these people, right? But they have the same doctrine, you know what I mean, that, you know, you should
Jesus
not.
Christ. There are songs that are all about Jesus Christ. Well, what happened to God?
Wait a minute, hold on, girl. And then there's what else? What do they have us? And then there is a we're gonna get into this a little bit because it's one of the topics I put down for us to talk about. I think it sometimes, I'm not gonna say all churches, but sometimes it gets to a point where people start to worship the teacher and the leader.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm trying to be tactful, girl, because
Absolutely.
I'm not trying to piss nobody off.
No, absolutely.
But
because
y'all
then
know
the
what hell
pastor
I'm
becomes
talking about. The pastor becomes
he becomes like the king, the
exactly.
the it.
Right.
I can't even talk. The it.
The it.
He is the it.
So, with spirituality, there is no worship of something outside of you.
Because let me tell you, from my practicum, it was dealing with creating a health ministry in churches. Because I was saying, if you can sell the pastor on it, you have got the entire congregation.
Absolutely.
If the pastor says
Oh,
do
no,
it,
no. Sweetheart, let me tell you. Politicians, every agency or institution that you can think of that is trying to figure out how to, you know, do a behavioral change with people or get them, to get people to do a certain, you know, to do a behavioral change, get them on a mission or something. Like, I mean, okay, I did PR for 20 years and marketing and mind fucking, but there is a big, there's been a lot of budget and money spent
Guys, I mean, these crackers, like, they are the best thing ever.
And speaking to churches, like, for real. There's well, it used to be. I don't know how much it is now. But anyway, okay.
Yeah.
But with spirituality, it's about, you know, it's not necessarily about worshiping yourself, but it is, I would say, it's more
honoring the divinity within you.
Ding, ding, ding. And that makes you love yourself. Like, are you kidding me?
And
like,
we don't do that in religion.
When you accept, like, oh my God.
Because then it's like, oh, you're a witch. No, yeah.
Like, oh, you're somebody get the holy water.
Right.
So there's that. Okay. So we just wanted to talk just a little bit. Oh wait, I saw this. Oh shoot. It said this was cute. Religion is for people who are afraid of hell, and spirituality is for those who've already been there. I like that.
I think I saw that somewhere. That's good.
Yeah, I was like, oh, and that goes back to the previous episode where we talked about shadow work.
Yeah.
And so the hell,
that's good.
I'm doing air quotes. I can't say the hell is that evil, evil party. But honestly, it's the part that you're not ready to accept. So when someone goes deep into that, it's like, oh, I already been to hell. What you talking about?
Right.
Like, and so I really like
it's
that.
true.
Okay, so let's get into this. I swear, this I think this gives people heartburn.
It does.
God. So you say the name God, and then sometimes you'll hear people say the universe, creator, the source, and all of that stuff. So what does it all mean? And I think when people, especially a lot of religion people, and I have conversations with them, and they're talking, and I say, like, the creator, or I say the universe, that gives them heartburn because they're like, oh, so you don't believe in God? I'm like, yes, I do.
No, I do. Right.
Actually, like a whole lot, like all up in it. But because, and this is where we have our own bias. It's
because of a word that you choose to use.
It's a word you choose to use. Yahweh.
What about these people that are saying Daddy God?
What?
Daddy God.
Wait,
I come before.
What are you talking about?
Yes, like they refer because God is supposed to be our father, but there are women that they call God Daddy God.
You know what?
Even worship leaders, but it sounds really.
I'm like, you know what?
There's a comedian that did it. He did something on that. I gotta show you.
Because I'm like, because you know what that I just, for some reason, I felt like Big Daddy vibes.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's very uncomfortable.
I'm like, oh, okay. Hey, whatever works for you. That was uncomfortable for me. Okay. But so people get upset about what you call them.
Yeah. So I feel like the universe. So I have started saying universe because I think about God as being ever expansive. Just, I don't know if I made up that word. I'm sorry.
No, you didn't.
This peach Bellini started kicking. But so when I say the universe, I'm thinking of a something or just a thing that encompasses everything, all things, and just is. And it's beyond me, it's beyond you, and it's larger than we can even, like, it's just everything. And I feel like God is kind of, first we put a gender on him because we say, God, he is a jealous God.
Yes.
And that just doesn't make sense to me. Because if God is everything and all things, and if God is love, then God wouldn't be jealous. So that's contradictory, right? So that's contradictory right there. But anyway, and those are the things that I question. A lot of people don't question the church; they just nod their head and say yes, Lord, and Amen, and raise their hand. But that's why I use universe, and some people have questioned me, and I just share it. But it's essentially it is the same thing, except with the universe I think logically, and maybe you can attest to this. You can't put a gender on the universe.
Exactly. So I would that was about to be what I said. I say God a lot just because I think it's just a training of the tongue, but also when I'm speaking to people, I meet them where they are. Yeah. So if I'm talking to somebody, especially if I'm doing a reading or coaching with somebody, I will use whatever word makes them that they are comfortable with. Mm-hmm. But I will say, like when I'm thinking about when we talk about like the law of attraction and manifesting, I talk about universe, right? But for me, I would say if I had to pick one, creator is like. Yeah. Creator's kind of, it's all encompassing. You know, it could be divine feminine, divine masculine, whatever it is that you need it to be. And it's like the grand architect. I don't know what to, you know what I mean. So, but I
some people say the divine. It's whatever,
Yes.
but I think it all essentially means the same. And I think with Christians, this is another thing too with religion that frustrated me, is that if it's something that is beyond their capacity to understand, then they think it's evil. And you're judged. But then you're not supposed to judge. So,
Right,
I mean,
but-
there are so many
right?
contradictions in the church that I just, yeah, anyway.
So, well, think about it though. I will ask this. You know how you hear people in church will say, you know, the biggest trick the devil ever did was convince you that that he didn't exist or something like that. Honestly, and I'm just gonna keep it 100,000. I know this is about to piss people off. I honestly believe, and this is I think if I could pick one thing about religion, but I have a lot of, but I don't hate religion. I don't have as much, you know, the angst against it, because I think
some
it
people
leads
do.
to something.
Yeah, I think
You know
some
what I
people
mean?
do need religion.
Absolutely. So we're gonna get into
Yeah.
but I think that, to me, the biggest trick, the best mind fuck manipulation that ever happened was being
Mind
convinced
fuck.
that God is not in us.
Yeah.
That, to me, it's like, and if you think about how much you could control somebody when you take away
Absolutely.
who they are.
That's
Like,
another reason why I don't like
You are not
religion.
a divine being. So here,
Right.
let me show you how you can get to that. But just
Yeah.
not in this lifetime, but just do what I say and you're going to get there.
Right.
That's the biggest mind
And
fuck
if you
on
don't
earth,
do
'cause
what
then
I
can
say,
control
you're
everything.
going to hell.
Yes, and look, I don't have to beat you, whoop you. I have your mind, so
Right.
you're gonna do whatever the hell I say in order to do this. Or you can just rot and burn in hell.
Right.
You're just like,
For eternity.
for eternity. Like, wait a minute, hold on. I'm only here on Earth for a finite amount of time, but if I don't do this for this finite time, I'm gonna burn for eternity.
Eternity.
Because there's no God. So to me, that's the biggest mind fuck. So you have to know how powerful you are as a person when there is whole systems, institutions, whatever, built to make you forget who you are. Like,
I think you need to say that again.
I say it, but I say it. I say.
What was his name? It was the big rooster.
Yes, the big rooster.
Longhorn.
Long foghorn?
Something like
Longhorn
that.
fog? Okay.
You guys can let us know.
Yeah, please. Man, I miss Saturday morning cartoons, y'all.
That was when childhood.
Was everything.
Yeah.
But I will tell you though, you go back and look at some of these cartoons now, you're like, what?
I know. Did he
Shit
say?
was
Was he
racist,
do?
wasn't it? Oh,
Right.
Yeah, very violent. Anyway, okay. Sidebar. What I said was the biggest mind fuck of all, the master manipulation, is making people forget who they are and making them forget that they have a divinity and there is God in them. Because they control your mind and control your actions, they have you.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So I don't have to, like, just the thought that one day you could be like me and be divine, you know what I mean? Because that's kind of how
Yeah.
it is. And so they control you. So that's the biggest master, and that's what I said. I said, when you are, when there are institutions,
That are
agencies built, like literally built, their whole mission is to make you forget that you have God in you. You need to know how powerful you are.
Yep.
That like what?
That means something.
That means everything.
And then we have this conversation too about how, like, with religion, you have to go through someone. I mean, in this particular instance, Jesus Christ, to get to God. But with spirituality, you have direct connection to God, and I think that's not something that's discussed a lot.
Okay, so and I have heart. I have heart problems about that, because even if, okay, let's just say, okay, you make everybody forget that they have God in them. All right, fine, you win. But then to make it so, then you have all these different religions, and everybody has a different rule on how to get to God. And then, you have to go through this way. If you don't go through Buddha, you ain't going. And you have to go through Jesus or you ain't going. But you know what the interesting thing about that, and it's like, so you're trying to tell me there's only one way to get to God.
Right.
But how do I know which one is the right way? But I'll tell you one thing that's so fascinating. When you think about Buddha, he was not Buddhist. His story, he was ascended to, and then Buddhism was made after that. And we all know Jesus was a Jew. So I think they were both spiritual And we have humans, we have done an amazing mind fuck on everybody, just in terms of making it so that, I'm not gonna say for Christianity, making it so that that's what Jesus was saying when he was down there. And we've had this conversation before. I do not believe, when I read and I look at what the Bible says, and even some of the prayers, I'm like, they're saying what we're saying, Christy.
Yeah.
It is all an interpretation of the pastor, the leader, you know what I mean, and what you want to believe. Like, literally, Jesus was saying that God is in you. Like, he's telling you. And so what they did was separate and make somebody, no, he's just in me. But if is somebody at your door? What is that? Oh no, that's a light. Okay.
Girl, my heart was in my throat.
But I believe that Jesus' message was here to remind people. That's why they were persecuting him. Not because he was going around telling them, go to church. No. This man was waking people up and showing them that they had God in them.
Yep.
So let me show you. I'm like you. But this is my mission, my purpose here. Let me remind you who you are. And then you have people like, oh, well, shoot, that's who I am. And so that's why they killed him. And that was, that was his. But I just don't. That's just my little thing.
That makes sense. No, that makes sense though.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of spiritual people start off religious.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens as we get older, you go through shit and you start saying, wait, hold on, this doesn't make sense to me. You start asking yourself the hard questions. Mm-hmm. And then you start asking yourself the hard questions. What do? We go to leadership.
Yep.
So, I just have a question, because then, you're just like, I'm just curious. And it's so easy to make people feel bad about asking these questions, because it's like, oh, so are you doubting God? And you're like, no, I'm just trying,
Yeah, like I've gotten into real conversations with people when they thought that I was not, like I didn't believe in God. And,
you're like, I just want to understand, make this make sense to me. So, you talk to a Buddhist and they'll tell you that this is the way. You talk to a Taoist, they'll say this is the way and the light. Mm-hmm. Christianity is the way and light. Catholics, you have all of these different, Islam, same thing. So
I was Buddhist at one point.
Really, I could totally see that. Did you chant a lot?
No.
Really? Why didn't you chant? Isn't that how Buddhists pray? Don't make fun of me because I don't know a lot.
Well, yeah, so we would chant, and there was like a prayer that we would say that we memorized.
Was that the beads? 88 beads? Do you guys do
No,
those?
so I was Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism.
Okay.
So it was like under Soka Gakkai. But,
my neighbor is. Say that again.
Soka Gakkai?
Yeah, I've heard her say that several times. Okay. So, yeah. I forgot what I was saying. So, where are we? Right here. So, let's talk about
Experiencing your truth versus being told what your truth is.
ain't that the shit?
And this is spirituality and religion.
Yep.
Because right now I'm experiencing my truth.
Oof. You know what though? I'm just gonna say this. I kind of had a moment with myself, and that thinking about all of this before this, when I was going through, I think more through my awakening. I kind of got, once I realized that I had the power to, and the obligation and the responsibility, honestly, to define who I was and stand in my truth and be the being that I am. Mm-hmm. I got upset with myself. I was like, I can't believe you just handed that shit over. Like, so easy. Waiting for somebody else to tell you who. I kind of had like a moment with myself. I was like pissed. Like, wait a minute. But why? And then when I started, because I ask myself hard questions. I don't care. Me, myself, and I, babe, we gets deep.
Why would you ever do
Why
that?
would you do that? And I'm just sitting there, okay, and I was dead serious. Like, why would I do that? Well, because legitimately there is no, like, even in schools, there isn't, like, when you think about growing up, for most people, and some people grew up like that, like, in spiritual world, like, kudos to you, because for real.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
Before I forget. So,
yes, please get it out.
with women and religion, we're not empowered at all. You know, like we are the whores.
I was about to say, oh, Mary Magdalene the whore.
We are the whores, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. We are the peasants. Mm-hmm. We are the maiden,
and we have to be pure,
right? And we have to be pure. Like, it's just like the thought of women, especially in religion. Women are not important at all. So it just, I don't know. It just makes you.
I have a theory about that.
Go ahead.
This is one of the things that I came to.
Okay. All these crackers. I keep eating these crackers.
Girl, this smells good and everything. I'm gonna try one of those. Okay. Anyway, so we all have God in us, right? Mm-hmm. But but women. Let me tell y'all how dope we are, y'all. Sorry, fellas, don't take it the
wrong way. Oh, they already know.
We need y'all. Okay?
The woman is God.
We love y'all. Mm-hmm. But when you think about, like, okay, yes, a woman cannot get pregnant without the sperm that only comes out of a male. Period, mm-hmm. Point blank. Now, however you get it, that's up to you. But you need some sperm, right? Okay. You have
Because I've heard of stories of getting pregnant other ways.
there's quite a few, but you still need sperm. Okay.
Like, whichever method of transportation.
But that, however it gets up there, you need some sperm. Okay. Now, but when you look at the divinity of women and think about, like, we are creators. There will be no other person on this earth without a woman. And so think about it. When the patriarchy was starting to be like, no, we need to take control of this. We can't let these women think. They tricked us into thinking that this is why we have pains and all that stuff, because, you know, woman is evil. And you bleed. And
Eve ate the apple, and we were just...
Yes, it's all our fault. We did, like women, we did all of that. But at the end of the day, let me tell you something. There would be no person on earth if it wasn't for a woman's womb. Men can't have babies, period, point blank. If you don't have a uterus, you cannot have a baby. So when you have a baby, that means that you are a creator, which means God gave women very special powers.
Yeah, and honestly, if men were supposed to have children,
I mean it.
I mean, children, there would be no more children.
No, what?
The pain that we have to.
But
no.
But that's our divinity. So it's like, so when you think about how, you know, they colored women. Think about that. How they colored us and made us look and tried to make us feel different and special and servant and all of these different things. And you have to be pure. And if you're not pure, you're going to do this. All this stuff. I mean, then you just tell people, like, wait a minute, hold on, but you wouldn't even be here for me.
Right.
Let me tell you what I'm not about to listen to your bullshit anymore.
Right.
That was another one of those moments. Like, wait, huh? Wait, we are for real gods. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I started tapping into my divine feminine energy. It is, I mean, it's taken some time, and I didn't realize. I was like, wow, okay. Like, when you tap into that.
Oh, too. Ooh, child, yes.
So as far as experiencing your truth versus being told what your truth is, what is that? What does that mean for you?
I think, like I said, I think it's spirituality, to me, gives you the space to honestly live and be who you are and discover who you are.
Yes.
Whereas I think for many religions, not all, because I will tell you, there are several, if you read some of the Taoist texts, they do tell people that there is about discovery of yourself. So not all religions, so I do want to say that. And just because I know a little bit about Taoism, I read a lot of their books. I love Lao Tzu's shit. Anyway.
I need to read that book.
So, as opposed to being, someone telling you who you are and telling you how to live and telling you how to think and telling you what, like, I think that's just a completely different way of living when you are when you are given the space. Like, how healers, we give you space to heal. We grant you that space. Spirituality gives you that space in order to discover who you are, as opposed to you being told what you do, how you do it, and why you do it. Period, point blank. Did you start that? No, you can do it that. Okay. So let's talk about. So I have this thing about the opposite of love is fear, right? And I feel like with spirituality, it's all about love. It is love of self, love of the collective. We are one. You know what I mean? That there's a lot of messaging about how can you hate, you know what I mean, or not understand that you and that tree are connected.
Yep.
And I also think it might be difficult for people to live like that type of lifestyle, because when you become aware of everything that you do and how it affects stuff, you're like, dang, I really do need to recycle. And I got, it does change.
So are you
your
saying
life.
that me and these spiders are connected?
Yes, so you just leave them spiders alone. I can't believe
Look, don't start none, won't be none.
Just break up their web and walk out. Okay, you just need to have a conversation with them. Like, can you stop blocking my door? Like, for real. They do need to stop blocking. I get it. But those are some juicy ass spiders, girl. This is good eating about your back door, apparently.
Good eating that will keep me bound to my house.
So religion is fear-based.
It is. This is true.
Very fear-based.
This is true.
So I think, and I think that, and that's a difference. And when you think about why does it have to be fear-based? And I would say Christianity.
It's a means for control.
Ding, ding, ding. Exactly. You got it. You got it.
Yay! I got an A.
You got it. I got an A. But what do you think about love versus fear in spirituality and religion?
Huh. That's a hard question, especially since I'm on my second Bellini. Well, so I will say that thank you. So I will say that the love from the spirituality piece is coming from a place that's unconditional. Whereas, and I'm going to have to do like both. Whereas religion is conditional. Well, if you follow these rules, you're going to go to heaven, you'll be loved. If you go to church every Sunday, if you don't miss a sermon, if you write your notes, and if you testify, and if you run around the church, that makes you a good person. And I feel like, again, so love for spirituality to me, all of this is our opinions, you guys. This is our opinions, so don't come at us, because we will come back.
My experience, my thoughts, and I'll say like my daddy told me, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. This is my asshole, y'all. That's all I'm saying.
So don't at us, because even though we are nice and we are kind and we talk about live, light, and love,
don't at me.
Yeah, don't at us. Just don't. But as far as like fear is, especially in religion, it's, for me, again, in my opinion, it is a means to control. You have to, like, you can't have sex before you're married, and you can't have a child unless you're married, and you can't do this and you can't do that. But if you fall within this line, you don't have to be fearful. But it says in the Bible, we come into this world as sinners. So
yes.
I mean, that's, like you say, a mind fuck.
That's a total mind fuck. Seriously. And then another thing, when you become aware of everything that's kind of going on, you just start looking, you're like, man, they have been mind fucking us forever.
Yeah, I mean, even I was having a conversation about voting, and I was just like,
Christy, such a mean. Okay, but let's say this. You just brought up something I wanted to talk about. About the sex and religion.
yes.
Right? So I used to, yeah, don't laugh at me, but this is dead serious. So once I started thinking about this, I'm like, okay, so who came up with this idea that the woman can only be with one person and she should be pure?
Like there are all these things.
These are the type of conversations I have with myself.
You must be divorced and you can't remarry and
all this stuff, right? So I started thinking to myself, who came up with this and why would
a
they?
man.
Yes, it's a man, but what I thought is ugly man. Because that's a way.
Penis.
Yes, because that's a way. How's you going? You know what I mean? Because if you got to be out here,
That
competing,
explains it.
I mean, oh, that was so bold. But no. Okay, but no. I will say this, guys. I think that it is unfair for us in 2020, or in this time and age, to make a judgment on religion without considering the context of what was going on when it was being built or designed. You know what I mean? So, for instance, Muslims, they're allowed to have more than one wife. I want to say something like however many.
But
you can
women
handle,
can't have more than one husband.
you know. But so when I was having this conversation with a Muslim friend of mine, and I was like, you know, and he was explaining, and I was like, okay, I'm like, look, I'm not mad at you. I said, because I think what happened, because I come up with these stories in my head. If you look back at about the time, there were a lot of wars. And then all the men go off to war. That's like everybody. They leave all the women behind. All the men do not come back. And at the time, you got to think about women weren't, they were definitely not working. So basically, they're in this home, in this space with their children, and nobody there to take care of them because their provider is dead because he died in the war. So if you think about it from that perspective, like, okay, so who's going to take care of these women? Okay, there's, 50 women and only 20 men. Okay, how many can you take? You know, I'm just saying, I do think that it's unfair to look at it like completely like, oh, well, why couldn't we do it? And did this? Oh, y'all just want to be nasty. But if you really think about it, it's like, no, actually, that makes sense to me for that time.
I'm taking applications for maybe not a husband, but one or two partners. Look, I'm taking applications because Mama does not want to work.
I'm still developing my application.
Mama does not want to work.
You're like, I'm just saying. So yeah, I thought about that. What was it was something else that I just thought about that made me think like just even religious texts, right? So, or how did the idea of somebody gets up and interprets the word of God for people?
Yeah, and that's something that I have a problem with because there are a lot of people. Oh, the word of God was ordained or inspired.
Everybody interprets it differently, right? But here's so think about the illiteracy back in the days. There were people who did not know how to read. That like illiteracy now is like, oh my God, you can't read. That's a very big thing. But back then, that was very normal for people not to be able to read. That's why there's a lot of symbols and symbology. You know what I mean? So there had to be someone who was literate, who would sit down and like story time. Like, this is what the ancient text tells us. This is what God said, and this. And so I think that's how it all kind of started. And I think it was very pure at first. It's just, this is a need. We need to be able to share with people the word of God. Okay? Scribe, page, whatever. You know how to read. You put it from here to there. And then so we need somebody to get up there and do it. And then I think it just kind of grew out from that. Because think about it. If someone doesn't, if you're illiterate, someone's giving you the word of God, it's very easy for that to become your God.
Right.
And then that's the person that you're going to like, oh my God, thank you. How do I repay you? There's always an energy exchange. How do I repay you for telling me the word of God? Here is your meals. We'll take care of where you live. And then, everything just blew up after that. So I do think my point is, I don't want to judge religion because I know that
whatever works for you.
Yes. And I also want to keep it in the context of, what was going on at that time. Like we could talk about Bill Cosby because, I just kind of think like, at that time, they was out there.
Ooh, so, yeah. So are we going to, the religious text, did you want to go through that?
Yeah, we were talking about, such a weirdo. We were talking about, just all these different, the religious texts themselves. Now, honestly, okay, tell me what you think, Christy. I don't think when you get down to the principles, the names are different. There may be different anecdotes.
But the story is the same.
The story is the same. You know what I mean? It might be 3 days instead of 7 days.
Right.
But the story is basically the same. So, just for a reference for everybody, because we like to share. Such a weirdo. Hinduism. So they don't, they're what do you call it? They don't believe in one God.
Polytheism.
Thing. Oh, there you go.
Oh, I pulled that out.
Honey. They don't rely on a single scripture, but rather a collection of their sacred writings, of which I'm going to mess this up. The Vedas. The Vedas are the foundation of their sacred writings. Islam, the Quran, is, is believed to be the unaltered word of God. And I'm doing this for a reason, because we're going to we're going to get into something. Okay. So from their perspective, this is the unaltered word of God, because, there are many different versions of the Bible. Okay.
Many.
The Bible, now this is interesting. And, there are different, what do you call those things? Different versions of the Bible. Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of Jewish scriptures in the Bible.
True.
And
That's
this is
facts.
why a lot of Jewish people, they will say, like Christianity is a watered down version of Judaism. Because we have a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and then they're like, and the guy that y'all worship like that, he was Jewish, so yeah, kick rocks.
Well, what is it? What is that secret society for men? They have lodges.
Sugar daddies? What?
No.
The Knights.
So there's like
Templar?
no, it's like
The
Masons. They are Masons. Sorry. Mm-hmm. So my understanding is during the Masonic intake process or whatever process they're going through, they have a table that has the Bible, the Quran, and the Torah, because they were pretty much saying, essentially, regardless of who you believe in, it is still the same. I'm not going to share what the rest is, but yes. So
interesting. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And if you look at the symbology of a lot of these, I would call them sacred institutions. They have a lot of symbolism from several different religions, and that's for a reason. Okay, Buddhism. They have a record of Buddha's teachings, right? Structures for what a Buddhist society should look like, and it's evolved over the years and centuries. And then there are devotional stories that have been added. So they have some teachings, and they have some devotional stories, and so everyone has it. But I will tell you, there's one thing that I think all of them have in common. I feel like, and they might actually even say it in there, it's just the thought of, or the concept of not, what do you call it, the concept of loving your neighbor. Love your neighbor as you would love yourself. And that's a whole thing. I can go down the rabbit hole on that, baby. Okay. Sorry. And that there is a God. Take it with you. That there is a God. Take it with you, Jade. That there is a, the children. That there is a God, right? Or gods. Honestly, that there is a power, a creator, a source outside of you that has created all of this, the heavens and the earth and all the planets and everything. So I think that is and it can be different names or more than one. But
that's true.
That there is something divine that created this. All of them have that.
Yep.
Okay. So let's go to this one and come back to that one. So the reason I want to go to that is because I want to talk about religions and war.
I don't know a whole bunch about war. So let me just tell you guys. So Mia is like a historic buff. She knows a lot. I don't.
Yes, you do.
About random stuff. Look, ask me what the Kardashians wore like the fall of 2019. I can tell you maybe. Like stupid stuff. I mean, not like really, but silly stuff.
Yeah, she's not serious. I promise you, she's not serious.
Or like nerdy scientific stuff. But
thank you. See.
But worse, no. Okay, so religions and war. Let's talk about that.
So, think about how many wars have been started over religion.
That's true.
And are still what is that? Oh my God, the Benghazi Strip. There's so much going on, all under the auspices of I'm defending my religion.
Yeah, I feel like that's the agenda, though, is to create conflict between the human race. I mean, there's something deeper. We've been talking about this, that there's this war happening spiritually, and then this war is also on earth, and like everything that we're going through is a reflection of what's happening above. But it's all a part of the agenda to create divide. And
that's my point. That was my
right.
That is exactly
I'm
the
sorry.
Point. No. I wanted you. I'm glad you said that, because with spirituality there is no division. Mm-hmm. The thought is we are one. There is a collective, and we are all here for a reason, for different reasons, but we are all connected. We all have the same thing. So now when you look at religions, mm-hmm. and I think I have a reason as to why they look like this too. When you have religions, it is a means of division.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. So yeah, spirituality is collective, religion.
Mm-hmm. So, but I think that as the story of creation, mm-hmm. or, you know, the divine, the divinity was kind of spreading throughout. We're just going to talk about little planet Earth here. Mm-hmm. You have to think that whatever first language, first download somebody got, the interpretation, depending on where you were in the world and what your language was and what your tongue was, is different. Mm-hmm. So, you know, let me see. Oh my goodness, it's like, you know, something that like, say a Chinese person, and you know, they were like, we saw a dragon in the sky, right? Yeah. Someone from the Mayan religion is like, no, that was a bird. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I think there are, because they don't have a word, they might not have had a word for mm-hmm. dragon, and they, you know what I mean? So I think that might be why the original division was, because all the stories are the same, but it was just more of, oh, I need to translate this to, you know, do you have a word for that?
So as intelligent... Let me get close to my mic. So as intelligent as humans are, you don't think anyone ever came up with the idea like, you know what, we aren't different, we're all the same.
Yeah, me and you and all the other spiritual beings out here. Yes, every day.
It's like,
because you start asking yourself the hard questions. Like, wait, let me really think about this though, but why? You know?
But why?
It's true. So that it's a form of division among people. And I don't, strawberries. And I do think that religion is extremely important, because I would tell you, I'll be honest,
structure.
It provides structure, and also give me an introduction to a being more powerful. You know, a powerful being that, you know, there is a creator. Mm-hmm. Because I think there is something to the thought of walking around this earth, without, you know, thinking, you know, like there's a answer for science for everything. Like, how did we get here? And mm-hmm. this is that and the third. So I think that this is that and the third. Sorry, I had to laugh at myself. So I think there is something different when you feel like when you believe in a divine source.
Yeah.
And whether or not you believe that's in you or outside of you, there is something to that. And I would say, if it weren't for religion, I wouldn't be who I was today, because I wouldn't have got to the point where I'm like, well, wait a minute. Well, if God loves me, mm-hmm. and you know what I mean, then why do I have to do this? You know what I mean? So I do. So I think that it does serve a purpose. It's an introduction. Hey, y'all. There's a divine source. His name is God. His name is Yahweh. His name is Allah. Whatever you want, you know, Emmanuel. Whatever it is that people want to call, you know, name him. That there is a source.
Do you want any more strawberries? I'm sorry, I'm about to eat this. I'm tearing these suckers up.
Like she said, I'm hungry. But and the other thing I think about when we talk about religion, is because I mean, I know we say it in Christian. That's what I'm gonna say. Love yourself, love others. If you love your neighbors, you love yourself. And I think it's so interesting that, because I don't think religion, Christianity in particular, does a great job of teaching people how to love themselves.
Oh no!
So
no.
When we teach the
teaches
concept,
you to be critical.
Thank you. So when we teach the concept of love your neighbor as you love yourself, but they forgot about the love yourself lesson. Mm-hmm. Where I think spirituality is all about love for self, because they know that once you love self, you love all.
Right. It starts with you.
Exactly. So that's why I said I don't see that they're that different. It's just they're, you know, when it got divided and split up and remixed, it's kind of all the same. Right. Right. So that's why I'm like, I don't have a and I also think there are leaders, religious leaders who have gotten a calling. They have had a spiritual awakening.
Yeah.
And I honestly think at this point, when I see certain people talk, I'm like, oh yeah, that you can tell because of the way that they talk and their interpretation of text, and although they're teaching within this brick and mortar building, and there are rules, and I don't want to say rules, but there are I don't know, I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but there are things that they have to, that they say that you have to do when they speak about God. They speak about it as, all of us, as opposed to like up there, y'all better look up. You know what I mean? Like there is a difference, and I think there's also, so when you think about religious leaders, I think there is a difference between one who had a spiritual awakening, like this is my calling, I need people to understand God, as opposed to those who
trying to make that money.
Taxes. You can have a business and not pay taxes. What?
I'm sorry. Some of these.
Like, seriously.
Well, one thing that my father taught me growing up is people are human. You never want to put them on a pedestal. So he was a professional photographer, and famous people would always come to the studio, and we would get all excited. And he would say, nope, they are human. They make the same mistakes as we do. We need to stop putting people.
Oh, dang.
Oh, no, you're fine. We need to stop putting people on pedestals.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with, the pastors of the church.
But think about it, though. I think it's same thing. Celebrities.
Yep, that too. Yep.
So, right, you know what I mean. But again, I get it. I've never really been a big worshiping celebrity people. I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate. At a very young age, that I saw the darkness in celebrities. I'm like, oh, you motherfucker. So I don't get that. But anyway, it's just not enough to the point where I'm going to worship on. Huh?
You don't see the darkness in Beyonce?
Oh my goodness. I'm not a celebrity person. I'm like, I like Beyonce. I like her music. But I'm not big.
Don't at me, y'all. Don't at me.
Oh my goodness. Oh, well, I ain't talking about the Beehive. I ain't about to do you. Hey, Christy said that. That was Christy.
I didn't say anything. I did not give any opinion whatsoever.
But think about it. Someone has taken the responsibility, and you've accepted that they are responsible for showing you how to connect to your godliness. So for the rest of your life, you can live in a mansion in heaven.
Right.
It's very difficult to separate that person that's saying it from the source, because you feel like I can only get to him, to the source, through this person, so I need to listen to him. So of course, it is. So of course, I can see how people can become enamored with our pastors. Actually, you know what? Hold on, let's get to this religious. I thought about something. Okay, can we talk about these preachers? And the children? I'm serious.
We should.
Oh, they about to get mad. Okay, I don't care. Forget it.
And that's kind of why I touched on the whole thing, was we need to stop putting these people on pedestals, because pastors are human.
Yeah, but let's talk.
Of course, they should be called to a higher.
Preachers. The Catholic preachers, is that it? Which pastors, preachers?
Priests.
With the little boys.
Priests.
I'm talking about the little boys.
Priests.
Thank you.
Priests.
Okay.
Not pastors. Sorry. No. Yeah.
So this is another thing with religion. And look, people are human. You're right. So I think with religion,
that's a problem.
With the Catholicism.
No, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Yeah, no, that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
With Catholicism, there is this thought of improvement through repression. Like, don't, because then you'll be pious. But at the end of the day, they're still human, and they still have these needs and these desires.
But even if they do, they just go and repent, and then it's done.
Yeah,
and they do it again.
That too. That's true. But whereas spirituality, there's a thought of the growth through acceptance.
Right.
Like, yes, I have. So think about it. If you get horny, okay? He's a man, he gets horny, but he has been taught to believe and think that if I have sex with the woman, I won't be pure anymore, and I'll lose my connection to God. So then they go do, these sneaky things because they don't have any way of expressing it because they're not allowed to. And then when you think about it, if you're not even allowed to think the thought, like you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I just thought about sex. Oh my God, what am I doing? I'm not supposed to do that. So then when you go do something sneaky, you know what I mean? You
Sneaky.
It allows you to kind of separate yourself from it and make it like, it's okay, I'm not thinking about that. I didn't do that because you haven't accepted, like, okay, yes, I am a sexual being.
Religion does that.
Exactly.
Which is ridiculous.
But I think that that is one of the reasons why a lot of the things that happen in churches, I mean, oh my goodness.
Especially sexuality.
Yes.
So I don't know if we're going to talk about spirituality and sexuality, but I think we should.
Well, yeah, we're talking about it next week.
No, that's purpose. We're gonna talk
Okay,
about
well then it's the week after next. Anyway. Yes, we're definitely gonna talk about that. But I think that when you make it dirty, and even the thought of it means something's wrong with you, that means that they never address it. They push it down. But then guess what? As we know, when you push something down, you may not be saying it out loud, but guess what? It's still there. I see. It's still there, and they
because there are some pastors who have a first lady, and I kind of question.
Because people aren't in certain religions, they're not allowed to be expressive and be accepting of who they are. So you can't. And you guys know there are certain churches where like they honestly believe that God can't be in you if you're a homosexual.
Oh yeah.
Like what? What do you even talk about? There are places. Like honestly, that all the women are supposed to be virgins before they get married. So what happens? They go have sex, but then they lie, don't tell anybody. Then they're not prepared for it. They don't have condoms. Then you got
Aren't there some women who have surgery to make it seem like they haven't had sex?
Yes.
That's just too
all that just because you can't accept your sexuality, girl. If you don't go someplace, stop playing with me. I'm not. It's just. So I think that
girl and boy.
Religious. True. I'm like true. Again, I'm not all religions and not all practicing churches. I just think that when we repress people from allowing them to be who they are under the auspices that if you don't repress this, then you're not of God, and God won't talk to you, and you're a sinner and all of that. Then you just have people walking. You hear people talk about the Catholic guilt, like. Yes. Oh, so you hear people talk about Catholic guilt. It's the shame, and that's the mind control piece of it. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet though.
No, she's educating today.
No, I'm not doing nothing.
So, what is your concept of heaven?
Heaven. I think heaven. Wow, I just feel like I'm just pissing people off today. I think heaven is a state of mind. Heaven can be wherever you are.
Yep.
I think when we take the concept of heaven away from it being something that we have access to within ourselves at all times, then that's when you get into some murky waters. But if you look at the word heaven, I believe like maybe it was like Old English or Middle English. The original concept.
I told you she be reading. She be reading.
This about sky. It's just what I mean. It's sky. That's all it is.
So it's funny. So since my perception or perspective on religion has changed, I haven't really thought about the concept of heaven, because I will say that I do believe that a lot of how we live our lives and how we feel in this lifetime is based on how we feel. And I think ultimately it gets to a point where it is heaven on earth in a sense, where we are living our heaven here on earth because of our mindset. But I haven't really thought much about it, but I will agree with you. Just like God is not outside of us. God is within us. Heaven is not outside of us. Heaven is within us. It all begins with us. It begins with our mindset.
Because you know what? I think it's so I think about the Lord's Prayer, right? Our Father who art in heaven, so who lives in heaven, which is the cosmos, like up there, okay? I'm fine with that. What do you say? Hallowed be thy name. So it's holy. You know what I mean? Like holy is sanctified, or be your name. It's just like I'm placing you at a place of I'm acknowledging your divinity, right? Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. As above, so below. As within, without. I don't think there's that much of a difference between, you know what I mean? Like,
No,
it's just
true.
how we interpret. Then it's like, and then it's on, give us this day our daily bread. And so I interpret that as our manna, like spiritual manna. Not necessarily like, Father, give us our food to eat. You know what I mean? I interpret that as, you know, my spiritual manna, allow me to connect with you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm here, connect me, give me my manna, my spiritual bread, not physical bread.
Yeah.
And what's the end of that? Wait, I actually have it on the chart right here. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. I interpret that as, again, we're talking to a divinity that is in us, right? So it's like, sis, forgive them. Forgive them and forgive yourself. Same thing we talk about from a spiritual standpoint.
Doing the work. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to do the work. But in order to, you know what I mean, to let stuff go, you have to forgive people.
Yep.
And you really got to work harder to forgive yourself.
I thought of it that way.
And what is that? How's the end of that thing?
Lead us not into temptation, but
deliver us from evil, right? So when I think about that, I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Like, these are seriously conversations I be having with myself.
And God is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
Thine is the kingdom.
And that's I am the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. What's the difference between when we talk about spirituality and, you know what I mean? Like, it's all interpretation.
Did you guys catch that?
You caught it. You see it.
Did you catch that?
Did you have your mid out?
That was good.
I think why religion sometimes gets such a bad name, and people, you know, you feel some type of way about it, or people feel some type of way, especially once you become a little bit more woke. It's not. I think it's because of the people.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the people who are teaching this, and you know, some people. And that's not all Catholic priests. Not all of them are out there doing these things to young children.
Not all are.
No, and I'll actually don't even think it's a majority. It's a minority of them, but because just the way that we are, it's like now we color the whole, like, don't go over there. You know they mess with little boys. No, you know what I mean? But you gotta think about another way to divide people, because we like putting labels on people.
Yep.
So that's why we like. And I'm just gonna say this: as Black people, why we have to be careful about how they show us. So if all you see on the news when they're like, oh, today 4 people got shot, and they put up 4 mugshots of Black men, for someone who is not Black, just for someone who's not Catholic, and you're seeing that in the news, you're like, damn.
Yep. Let me stay away from them.
Let me stay away from them. It's the same thing. It's just a way to put a label, and I just don't think that's necessarily fair to color an entire religion that's what they do.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, you know, it's people who are woke, I'm air quoting y'all, some of us can get a little beside ourselves. You know, we get very judgy. And I will tell you, I think it's another level of consciousness when you can observe without judging.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
real.
noticing that too. And I think that's in every area or aspect of life. There's going to be some divide. Because we were even talking about this before, especially in the spirituality community. There is those who are, light and love, and those who are like, oh no, I do, you know. So I honestly, I think that's something that just we do as humans. We like to create labels, and then the labels, then we compare, and then we create this division.
And the thing is, we do it to ourselves because
we do
of the grand mind fuck that they've done. So
lovely.
That is not
do the work, folks. Do the work.
Do the work. So we I'm trying to think. We hit
this
on
is good.
Quite a bit. Like I was trying to just, you know, we just had to get through some stuff, but I would say the major takeaway is for me is don't be afraid to ask yourself the hard questions, because you just never know where it may lead you, and don't allow yourself some grace and some compassion when you start to have these questions. That does not mean that there is something wrong with you, that God doesn't love you, or whatever it is. Allow yourself to have them feelings, because if you have it and these thoughts and these questions comes up, it's for a reason. Not all religions are bad. I don't think religions are bad at all, actually. And I feel like we need to separate the ideologies from the people who are, messing up. Now, there's just some stuff I just don't agree with.
Yeah.
I completely believe that we all have access to the Creator, because the Creator is in us.
So can I say something? So you said your takeaway is to not be afraid to ask yourself the hard questions.
The hard questions, yeah.
And I would say, and I do agree with that, but I would also say don't be afraid to question people outside of you.
Yeah.
So when I was in church, I would start to question certain things, and that wasn't necessarily looked
Did you
highly.
ever get an answer?
No.
Interesting.
But they don't take too kindly of being asked questions, but and I did, and oh, they're upstairs. I continue to ask questions because I we need to be free thinkers, and I do think religion puts us in a box that does not enable us to be free thinkers, and we need to be able to think freely.
And I will also say this: when I say ask ourselves the hard questions, you guys, I'm very big on reminding ourselves and myself to hold ourselves accountable. And I'm gonna go into temple work while you grab that. Ask yourself, meaning yourself. Like, don't be afraid to ask yourself about yourself those hard questions. It's not just question the systems, question all religions. No, so you have to be honest with yourself about who you are. And allow yourself that grace. It's not like you have to tell anybody you're doing it. I mean, I know sometimes that can be difficult, but allow yourself to ask yourself and answer for yourself those hard questions. And if you go and you don't get the answers that you seek, or you're looking for validation or confirmation from somebody else, I would urge people to ask yourself the questions, or ask people the questions without any expectation of what that answer is. Because if you really want to be, as Chris said, be free thinking, allow whatever the truth is for you to be what it is. And know that your truth might not be somebody else's truth, and guess what? That's okay. It is what it is. All right, guys. So we're going to wrap up, but I'm going to give us some tempo work today. Tempo.
Ooh, this is going to be good, you guys.
I like this, right? I think I like this. Okay.
That was delicious.
Was it delicious or nutritious?
Oh my goodness. It wasn't nutritious, but it was delicious. I'm not superstitious.
Okay, so here we go. No. So this is called doing some mirror work. Okay, which I think is awesome. Why am I over here? I'm in a good mood, yeah. Okay, guys, while I'm looking this up, I have to tell y'all about this more. So, I could not sleep last night. When I say I could not sleep last night, I mean I did not sleep. Of 1 wink. So we were, and if you guys may know, if you follow us, we go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, a few days a week. Christy comes and picks me up on the way to the gym, and she's, I'm gonna tell you, her time is like, when she says 4:35, she legit means 4:35. Black folks will be like 4:35, but we really mean 4:45 because we know people will be late. No, she's down there at 4:35. And if she's going to be late, she's like, I'm running 3 minutes late. She pulls up at 4:38. I mean, it's hilarious. So since I couldn't sleep, I just was like, forget it. I'm just going to get up and just get dressed for the gym. So when she pulled up, I was sitting outside on the curb like, oh, this person. But so I did a workout today, guys. We did this workout today. And when I tell you I had not slept and it was kicking in, I was delirious. Did I not look like I was drunk in the gym?
Yeah, there were a couple times she was laying on the ground. I'm like, are you okay? A couple people like, are you good? You all right?
I'm like, I swear I'm not drunk. I was drunk sleepy. But so anyway, guys, we got to take care of our temple. Okay, so let me get to our works for today. Our temple assignment. You guys are going to love this. Okay. It's mirror work. So what you're going to do is, over time, when you're gonna start this, you're gonna spend a minute or 2 or 3 gazing at yourself in the mirror. Just look at yourself in the mirror, and then what I want you to do is and do this. Try to keep, when you're looking in the mirror, try to keep it around the eye area, because the what is it? The eyes are the window to the soul. Mm-hmm. So and just really look at yourself and allow yourself to feel whatever it is you feel. And then you were gonna write down 3 words that came to mind while you were doing this. Like what did I, what was I thinking? And just be honest. And again, this is just for you. So I want you to write them down in your journal. You all should have journals by now. Okay. And I think some people may be surprised at how uncomfortable this is, because we look in the mirror all the time. We're fixing our hair and doing whatever, looking at your beard. Oh man, I'm man with a.
You said beard?
Yes, I'm man.
You
with
talking about me?
Get go. I was talking about. I just had a visual. Woo! Okay. Anyway, in my head.
I like
we're looking at ourselves, but how much do we honestly look at ourselves when we're in the mirror? So it's a little unsettling, honestly. So it could be something, you may think of a word that describes your physical appearance, or it could be like an emotional state. It could be anything, right? And so when you write them down, I want you to think about what they say about how you view yourself. This is all about yourself, right? You don't like those?
No.
Oh, okay. This is all about you. And if it's something that you want to shift or something more uplifting that you want, build on it. But you have to accept it and see it. And guys, I want you to do this every once in a while and see how over time, which is why I want you to journal it, how over time, if you go back to the first time you did it, what you saw and what you experienced, you'll notice how you get deeper and deeper into knowing and seeing yourself. And honestly, I'm all about this self-love, y'all. I mean, it's just so freaking powerful when you love yourself. It's a whole notion. You will start to see yourself more, accept yourself, and love yourself more. Okay? So that's what you're going to do. How easy is that? But
Very
look at
easy.
yourself in your eyeballs, guys. Don't look at your hair. I got these little, you see these little silver babies trying to get me.
Her little seasoned baby hairs.
Yeah, my little baby hair is a little silver. We're going to take care of that, though.
No, don't. Girl, you were created perfectly.
I know, but I can't die.
No.
Because you don't have any.
I do. It's in there. It's hidden.
Okay, Christy, what is our wonderful crystal of the
Crystal
day?
time.
Oh,
Where is she? Okay.
Right here.
My little baby. I need to get some big ones like you
I like
have.
that one. That's
So-
exactly the same size I have.
This little booger kept me up. All right, so today's featured crystal, ba-dum-bum, is Angel Aura Quartz. So I'm going to start off with this. Angel Aura Quartz is a man-made crystal. And I don't personally work with crystals that are not 100% natural. Although that does not mean that they're bad. They just have different energy. So when you take something from the earth and you do something to it, the energy is going to be different. Yeah, it's going to shift. But I do work with Angel Aura Quartz with my clients, and it works very well with them, especially for those who are looking to open themselves up spiritually. But let me see. So basically, if you guys are interested, because I like providing this information, so Angel Aura Quartz is basically created with clear quartz points or clusters, and basically they go through a special treatment process where their surfaces are bonded with platinum or vaporized with finely powdered platinum, silver, or other trace minerals. But it has this really funky,
I love
beautiful,
that. Iridescent,
rainbowy. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, it is beautiful. Like you see it in the store, you're like, I must have it. At least that's how I was.
That's how I was.
So these are beautiful. They have this really wonderful rainbow iridescent color. It does not fade, but this does not occur naturally in the earth. The Mohs hardness is a 7. And Angel Aura is great for the crown chakra and the etheric realm. And it basically, the etheric realm holds chakras 8 and above. Angel Aura Quartz is also so it has like a really sweet quality to it, which is nice. And I feel like it's gentle. I think a lot of crystals that I have are gentle, which is good, but stimulates the spirit and elevates one's mood. This particular crystal assists in attuning those to beauty. It has the ability to channel higher knowledge. It allows you to commune with loving spiritual entities. And more specifically, this crystal can help remove cords or help to remove limiting beliefs. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to select this for the episode, because I think in terms of religion, we have to let go of a lot of limiting beliefs that we have in our life. Also, wearing the crystal will help one become a beacon of inner beauty, peace, spiritual awareness during one's journey in the world. And I think I've said this before, but everyone's interaction or energy that they receive from a crystal is going to be different. So Mia may feel one thing from one crystal, and I may feel something completely different from that same crystal. It does not mean that it's right. It does not mean that it's wrong. It's right for her, and it's right for me. But as far as meditating, you guys already know how I meditate with my crystals. I hold them in the left hand, which is my receiving hand. And Mia, have you worked with this before?
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. The reason I have an Angel Aura Quartz, I bought it because I just thought it was beautiful. I actually haven't done anything with this, but it's just beautiful. And I knew it was a clear quartz. You know, to me, you can never have enough clear quartz.
Yes, clear quartz is. Oh, I'm wearing some.
Yeah, well, that's really pretty too.
Yeah, you can wear clear quartz. Yes, I'm wearing my
emeralds.
I was looking at your ring. I was like, oh, that's fancy. Yeah, I'm wearing this wrapped crystal from Tamla Michelle Holistic.
That's really pretty.
Where'd you get that ring, though? It's cute.
Okay, don't call me bougie.
She's bougie.
First of all, Mia loves jewelry. Okay, we're just gonna say
Mia's bougie.
my family. There's a woman who makes all our family jewelry. So she's wonderful. She made my I am. You see my charm bracelet. Every charm on here she made. It's a gold charm bracelet, and I mean, like, it's beautiful. Like, it has like CAU, the little panther. She made every last one of these for me. So she made this, but I really wanted an emerald. I love emerald. It's so
That's
pretty.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Bougie. Bad and bougie.
I love jewelry, guys. I mean, you know, it makes you feel special and sparkly. Shit. Okay. So, but back to the Angel Aura Quartz. I haven't meditated with this before. I just think it's really pretty. I'm just gonna
it is a very beautiful crystal, and in the beginning of my crystal journey, I was bringing all the crystals in my bedroom with me, and when I brought home the Angel Aura, I had the crystal on my nightstand, and that night I could not sleep. I could not sleep. I remember I got up at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and I just couldn't take it anymore, and I realized it was the crystal, and so I put it into the back room because it was keeping me up, and I went back to sleep, and I was able to go back to sleep. So
wow. So I'm glad that you were able to figure out that that's what it was.
Because we talked about it in class, and so this was actually during my class. Because I
didn't move any crystals. I'm sorry, guys. I'm back on trying to figure out why I literally did not sleep a wink last night. So today, Christy is going to do a card.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what's funny. So I don't know if you saw me laughing.
Oh, I did see you laugh. I just didn't know what you were laughing
So, as Mia was talking, I was shuffling the cards. You probably heard me shuffling the cards earlier. And a lot of times, Mia will ask if I have my cards or if I'll give her a reading. I'm like, oh, really? Do I have to? And because I still second guess myself. Of course, I'm not perfect, so I still second guess myself. So the first time, shuffle the cards, shuffle, cut, pulled this card, and I was just like, okay. Read the meaning for it. I was like, oh, okay, that's good. And I was like, maybe there's another card. Shuffle, pulled out another card, read that, and I was like, okay, good. Okay, no. I'm going to get up and shuffle it real good because I feel like...
that's why you left all
I'm like, no. I need to get up and shuffle it real good because it just has to feel right. And so I did it, and then I cut it, and then I pulled the same card.
I'm about to say, you pulled the same damn card. That's exactly.
So that's why I laughed. I was like, Okay.
Okay, I guess that's my bad.
Right. So, honestly, our guides, spirit, whatever you want to say, whoever you want to call it, sometimes they got jokes. All right. So the card that I pulled is the Sovereign. And so the Sovereign card, I wish you guys can see these cards too. They're so pretty. I think you've seen these already.
I love these, yeah. These are gorgeous.
It's like a rose gold. It's like black matte cards with rose gold artwork. But the Sovereign card invites us to activate the leader, visionary, and enthusiast within us. It is a time to welcome in passion, and fire, while creating structure that allows for you to nurture your dreams. That's good. Nurture your dreams, you guys. Sovereign creates a container that allows for growth within themselves and others. They approach situations with a no bullshit attitude. You guys, this is in the book, not me. No bullshit attitude and may come. No, I cuss. I cuss. I cusses. So they approach situations with a no bullshit attitude and may come across as harsh to some people. Their strong boundaries and opinions may even be intimidating to others, but in reality, it is their way of nurturing. They have no interest in appeasing others simply to keep them comfortable. They will continue to push those around them so that they can grow. The Sovereign also calls us to create structure, and we actually talked about structure earlier. From a place of structure, the Sovereign knows that life runs more smoothly, allowing for the manifestation of true success, security, and happiness. Where in life do you continually find chaos? This is something for you to think about. Where are your energy and resources getting sapped? You need to think about that too. Or who's that vampire sucking that energy out of you? The Sovereign invites you to examine those situations practically and cut out what is no longer serving
really
you.
Nasty. I mean, when I say, I'm so glad I caught myself. I was about to be on some freak shit. Y'all do not need to know me like that. Woo, get your minds together. Continue.
So this is not the time for being sentimental or nostalgic. The Sovereign is realistic about what is needed and gets it done, knowing that it makes room for true peace. The Balanced Sovereign is a leader that belongs only to themselves. They are in service to others by choice in their method of leading and empowering others. They are strong and know just how capable they are. They will reclaim their space without hesitating, inviting the others around them to do the same. An unbalanced Sovereign, I'm going to make sure that you guys are listening to me. An unbalanced Sovereign may become domineering. They can become too controlling and boundaried, not creating space for emotional connections and softness with those in their life. They fear not being in control and in turn may lash out at those around them and micromanage everything their loved ones do.
Stop being emotionally manipulative, y'all.
Exactly. So that is the Sovereign card, which invites us to activate the leader, visionary, and enthusiast within us. So, now's the time to just reflect. Reflect on yourself. Don't be afraid to question not just your beliefs, but, why people believe other things or, why people have certain expectations. Don't be afraid to question. I'll just put it that way.
So let's see, what time are we at?
Ooh, I think
I'm scared to look. So, Christy, I'm like, guys.
Not bad.
Okay. And I'm like, you guys, Christy, come on, we try to get this in an hour. And we had a couple people hit us up like, don't worry about the time, just keep doing what you do.
Right, they're like, just flow. So we're flowing.
We flowing.
We flow.
I don't want to flow too long.
Yeah, we're not flowing.
Thank you guys.
Yes, thank you.
I hope this was helpful. Hopefully some of this resonated with you. Can you look at what our next topic is? We have our little calendars together, guys.
Yep. I put it in there.
You did? Okay, cool. If I had reading is fundamental, right? Thank you all for listening to us, to Two Queens and Crystal Things. We so enjoy this. We're so grateful. I love being in service. I love learning. Because every time we
learn so much more.
Absolutely. It's
about ourselves too.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I learn so much more about,
and about each other.
And also just about ourselves. And it's exciting and I love it. So before we go, please show us some love. Like, subscribe, and share our podcast. We really appreciate it.
Yes, please share.
Like for real.
So I didn't post a picture. We are revamping some things. So be patient until we can get ourselves together. I'll talk for myself until I can get myself together.
Oh my goodness.
Because I'll get there. But things are changing and we have some things coming. So
We're excited.
We are very excited.
So yes, we have some. We're getting some stuff together. We actually did a 2 Queens and Crystal Things work retreat and have a little plan. Get 2 brains together. Anyway, also be sure to follow our podcast page on Instagram, which is 2 Queens Crystal Things. So we are posting. Start posting all the crystals that we talk about, for the week, and we'll show you in cards. And I need to start when I do a channel message. I'm going to start writing them.
Yes.
I need to type it and put it on. So we'll start posting those for people. We're just trying to find the best way for us to be able to connect with you and give people what they want and need to hear at that time.
Yep.
Also, please follow my sister here at Christie IE.
She always embarrasses me with this.
She is a wonderful crystal energy healer. She would get you right. Oh, I hit that note. Hold on.
Hey. And please follow Mia. She is an amazing spiritual coach. And she does a whole bunch of, she is the Jane of all trades. She for real is very multi-talented, but you can follow her on her personal page at Wings Unleashed 444. That's Wings, WINGS, Unleashed 4444.
I think, so I was going to say that I was going to think about Akashic record reading, but I was just saying a lot of people have been opening up. A lot of people don't even know what Akashic records are. So a lot of people have been opening up to it. This is like, so I do Akashic record reading. I need to know what's going on with this soul journey.
I'd like to have a reading.
I like to. So yes, we are here for you. We got what you need.
Mia is the business in terms of reading, like for real, she is. She is.
Stop it. It's the Bellini speaking.
No, it's not.
So guys, stay tuned for next week's episode.
Yes.
Well, we are going to discuss living your purpose.
Oh my
and
goodness.
That's going to be so fun. I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about everything.
I'm excited, yeah.
Down, man. Why are you so excited? So if you have questions for us to answer for the next show, you can send them to us at info@2queensandcrystalthings.com, or you could just DM us on IG. Until next time, my beautiful, wonderful people, thank you for listening, because I know if you're listening, that means that you have questions that you're answering and you're seeking, and we love you for that, and we want everyone to experience the fullness of who they are, and if we can help and assist that in any way, that's why we are here. So until the next time, light, peace, love, and soul. Make your soul glow.
Bye guys, love y'all.